Okay, now that the tape is out and everybody done seen the tape, I got one question though. Why ain't the white guy being fired? The white guy tased him. Why ain't we got 6 police officers up here and one of them white? And that's kind of suspicious right there. So you got 6 police officers. You got 5 police officers. Where's the white dude who was at the beginning of the tape who tased him? That's all I'm asking. Where's he at? Why are we after the EMTs too? They didn't have nothing to do with it. It's just a witch hunt at this point. It's just a witch hunt. You take the 5 down, which they should be taken down. But we clearly see in the beginning of the video that the white guy tased him. The white guy was clearly in the video. He should be taken down too. Because that's where the torture started. And a lot of people are like, why did he run? Why did he run? If you was being tortured, pepper sprayed, you're trying to comply, you're being pepper sprayed, you're being hit with tasers, you're being kicked in the head, and you're trying to tell these people, cool out, it ain't that bad, it ain't that bad. As soon as you can get the hell out of there, you're going to get the hell out of there. I don't blame him. It's on YouTube. Go watch it on YouTube. But that man was being kicked. He was being pepper sprayed. He was being tased. They was twisting his arms in all type of directions. And you got black conservatives talking about why didn't he comply? Let me do all of that towards you. Let me do all of that to you and then ask you, why didn't you comply? Yeah, they was hitting him with the baton. They doing all types of shit, and y'all acting like all you gotta do is just comply. Just comply? How can you comply? How are you gonna comply? How you gonna comply? Y'all got this all, man. How was he supposed to comply? Then when he ran, if you watch the video, when he ran and they caught him, they had his arms. 2 of them had his arms. All you had to do was bring his arms back, put him in handcuffs. You see dude just swinging. His arms are being held while dude is just swinging on him. And y'all talking about comply. There was so many chances for them to have the upper hand. They had so many chances to get the upper hand and put him in compliance. But they was beating on that man. They was beating on him. They was wailing on this man. And if you didn't know what happened, the squad, the Scorpion squad got disbanded today. They trying to get ahead of everything. They trying to get ahead of it. Oh hell no. Nope, John. Nope, not going through that. Take you being the prophet ass on. You're not coming on here today. You ain't coming on here today with that BS, John, man. We ain't here to hear that prophet shit. Go pray in your record store. You know what? So this is what happened. He was what they said was reckless driving, and this is why it was personal. He came over the lane and almost hit one of the officers. Go listen to the videotape when they all talking shit. One of the officers said, yeah, he came in my lane and almost hit me. And that's when I chased him down. So it was personal. It was very personal. It was very personal. It was very personal. It wasn't about that he was reckless driving. He made an accident. And that's why when they pulled him out of the car, they was going so aggressive because he almost because one of the officers said he almost hit him. He wasn't recklessly driving. He almost swerved into the lane of one of the officers, and that officer, they took it personal. That's why when he pulled over, they got out of the car and they was very aggressive. They was cussing at him. They was like, if you move, I'll break your back. I'll do all of this because they was upset because he almost hit one of the cars. Go listen to the video again Go listen to the video again and listen to the part where they're at the end and they're all talking shit. You're going to hear one of them say, I was in the car and he swerved in my lane and almost hit me. So it was personal. It was very personal. It had nothing to do with him being driving recklessly. It was they felt he disrespected him. That's why they got out of the car and they was immediately on him. It wasn't about I done seen people get pulled over for drunk driving and the police didn't do all of that. I done seen people get running 100 miles up the freeway, the police chase them down and they didn't do all of that. The problem with police officers, if they take something personal, they're going to beat your ass. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. Once a police officer a police officer feels that you're disrespecting them or you're trying to do something to them, they're going to beat your ass. They're going to beat your ass. And that's the bottom line of it. It was all about ego. Because if he was reckless driving, if he was reckless driving, you just pull the person over, give him a ticket. I got charged with reckless driving. I just got a ticket and went to court. That's it. You don't beat their ass. You don't run up to the car, pull them out of the car and throw them on the ground and start kicking them and tasing them and hitting them with batons and pepper spraying them. That's for like criminals. This was more ego driven. This was ego driven. This had nothing to do with the law. This had nothing to do with race. This had something to do with ego. They let ego get in the way. And because you could see from the beginning, if you watch the video from the beginning, you will see the way that they got out of the car was overly aggressive. It was overly aggressive. So you can see right then and there, this had nothing to do with him reckless driving. This has something to do with, I feel disrespected. You almost hit my car. So now I'm going to beat your ass. That's basically what this was about. That's all this shit was about. You could say my explanation is weak, but my explanation is the truth. This was all ego. And they already was this was the thing. They called themselves the Scorpion Squad. So the police chief, don't believe that bullshit that the police chief didn't know what they was doing. The police chief knew what they was doing. The police chief knew what they was doing. The thing is, in any job, listen to me, in any job, if you disagree, jump in the box and come on and tell me. In any job, especially jobs like correctional, police, security, you could be doing that shit wrong. You could be doing it wrong as hell. But as long as you're getting results, they're not going to mess with you. As long as you're getting results, especially in a city like Memphis. In a city like Memphis, this group was probably getting results because Memphis is a very rough city. They probably was getting results, cleaning up the drug dealers, cleaning up the gangbangers, cleaning up a lot of stuff. But they wasn't going about it right. And everyone looked the other way because they they getting results. They didn't care how they was getting results. They just knew they was getting results. Now shit done hit the fan. That's what it is. Shit done hit the fan. And now they we got to get ahead of it. We got to get ahead of it. Okay, what do we do? Okay, you go out there and you make a statement. You make a statement and you throw them under the bus. We didn't know nothing about it. Okay, now we're going to disband the unit. We're going to disband the unit because they're trying to get ahead of it because it's about a floodgate is about to open up. A floodgate is about to open up. Watch, there's going to be people coming out in Memphis talking about the whole squad. People in Memphis are going to start now coming out saying, look, I had an encounter with them. This happened to me. It's about to get very, very ugly. It's about to get very, very, someone said they already are. Exactly. Because they was looking the other way because they was getting results. This was happening in Oakland, California. You can look it up. There was a group in Oakland, California, a group of white police officers. They called themselves the Riders. and they was in West Oakland, and they was the most crookedest police there was, but they was getting results. But then when the community started to fight back, they sued the Oakland Police Department, and the federal government had to come in and take over the Oakland Police Department. Oakland just got its police department back. These cops, these rogue cops, as long as they're getting results, people look the other way. But then as soon as shit hits the fan, they start throwing people under the bus. So that's what this was about. This was a squad of cops who was in Memphis getting results, but they wasn't doing shit right. And now shit didn't hit the fan. Now the police chief got to get ahead of it, because you know what? She's about to lose her job. She's about to lose her job because she is gonna get in trouble, because when the people start coming out like they already are, when people start coming out, shit rolls downhill. Shit rolls downhill. That's what people don't. Shit rolls down. They go for the top first. The top has got the shit rolls downhill. If you don't remember nothing I ever tell you, shit rolls downhill. She's about to lose her job. It might go all the way up to the mayor. It might go all the way up to the mayor.
And
Go
you're
ahead.
absolutely right, because that's why I wanted to weigh in on this subject, is because she knew all along what was happening. She knew that this group here was bad. There's been several complaints that's been made against this group for being violent toward the citizens up there. And she knew that she had to do something. And in order to get it done, to keep her out of the eye, she had to fire them over what has happened, because she didn't think eventually something like this would go down, but it did. And to be honest with you, I think this was personal. I think they have been watching him for a while. Just
Now, if you listen to the video, one of the cops say that he almost ran into his car.
yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't that that's what it was. It was
And
like a
not only
form of
that,
disrespect.
I think another reason too, that at the moment, when he started to run, I think he knew then that something wasn't right, because if you remember one of the videos, I'm not sure which one it was, but I know one of them got out and he had on a hoodie.
Right.
So why, my question is if these are police officers and they're going to make a stop, and why would 4 or 5 cars have to stop one man because of, reckless driving or something? You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, but look at the type of cars they was driving.
Right.
They weren't
Exactly.
driving regular police cars.
Yeah, right. It's like they're regular vehicles. And I think that he knew then, once he saw what was happening, and that's when he went into panic mode, like, if I don't get away from them, I'm not going to make it. I think that was the whole thing. And somebody said he had handcuffs on, but I don't think he had handcuffs on when he ran, did he?
In the second video, he had handcuffs on. In the second video, when they was beating his ass, he had handcuffs on. I think the reason he ran because he was trying to tell him, "I'm trying to comply, calm down. Y'all don't got
Yeah,
to
you're
do
right.
this and all that." And they got out of the car. If you look at the video, they pulled him out of the car, threw him on the ground. One of them had their taser already ready. One
Right.
of them was like, "You better get your ass on the ground before I break your arm." It was just like it
But
was
here's,
like a atmosphere of it was like a bunch of lions on a gazelle.
like, I was talking to another group earlier, another activist, about this scenario, and we all agree that, this sergeant, she should have done something about this group when she first started getting complaints. So I hold her accountable as well, because I don't think she did her job. She's just trying to make herself look good by doing what she did. Okay. But the whole thing is that she saw the video up above, because on those corners they have video cameras. And she
Right,
even said her own self that she saw the whole entire thing. Okay, well, if that be the case, all, including EMS, they should be held accountable, all of them, because they were all there when this went down. And not one wanted to render aid to help this young man.
well, wait a minute. Before we go any farther, can you tell us about some of the complaints they got?
There was a few videos that I watched. There was a lady that complained about her son. He had been, tried to be stopped by them before and was being
Mm-hmm.
harassed. And they had made up a story that about that they thought that he might have been the one they were looking for. They have stopped people on routine checks saying that they had outstanding warrants, and come to find out they didn't have any warrants. I mean, it's the story goes on, and that's why I say I think that they were doing it not as a all a personal, but I believe, like I said, I believe that they were watching, observing, and wanted to get him eventually, and they waited until this time. Okay, well, we'll just stop him and tell him that he's a reckless driver. This was their way of getting him and, pulling him out of the car like that and everything. I mean, I feel so bad. My heart goes out to his parents. His
Brother B. Oh, I'm sorry, miss. Go right ahead.
No, it's okay, but I feel so sorry for his mother. His mother is she seems like a really nice lady, and she knows her son real well, and she even told her husband her stomach was hurting her when all of this was going on, and she said all along I was feeling what my son's pain was. And that's what I believe, that I believe that she was totally feeling the pain that he was going through, and my
I
heart
can,
goes out to them.
I can see that.
But I mean, I really believe that everyone that's involved, I believe that this woman needs to resign, because it's going to get deep. It's going to go deeper than what it is, because I don't give her kudos for
What's
what
going on with y'all, y'all?
what
How
she's
y'all?
talking about.
All right, Ebra. Yeah. I think she's
Yeah,
just trying to
I'm
get
in.
ahead of it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
King.
Chief, I'm in Memphis, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
live here. I've been living here for the last 40 years. See, and I'm gonna sit here and share this with y'all. Uh, they did what they had to do in the fashion that they had to do to keep the dot off the police officers that's still working in the city. If
Right.
they
Right.
didn't, if they didn't indict, fire, arrest, bring up on charges, they already knew that the younger generation in this city, the ones that they created this special task force for, how they were going to react. Because due to the simple fact of how the nature of the city is at this current point and how it has been ever since the last 5 to 10 years. Uh, the city, Memphis, I love my city, but these young folks, they don't care. They shooting on sight on scene. They shooting people on the expressway. They shooting up elderly people. They shooting women. They shooting kids. They don't care. And I'm just gonna share this with you. With the people that you saw in their video is what we call here in Memphis the jump out boys. I have
Right.
people on the police force, and
Mm-hmm.
these are their rules, and this is their rules of engagement with certain individuals in makes of cars. So we're going to say Challengers, Chargers, and Infinity. All right.
Right.
We have a group down here called the Infinity Boys. They are known for robbing and killing and unaliving people. All right. We have the
Mm-hmm.
Charger Boys that they are known for drug trafficking and shooting. All right, drive-bys, this, that, and the third. Now, a lot of these Infinity charges and challenges and charges are owned by 20-year-olds. All
Right.
right,
Right.
so they had to protect the police, the regular police, from these certain individuals because once they pull them over, there is a chance that it's going to be a race or it's going to be a shootout. That's the
Okay.
reason why you saw them at the beginning of the tape talking about get out because that's what they're for. When the police say that, hey, I got an Infinity, I got a Charger going down such and such street, they call it in and they call them boys in to handle the
Well,
situation.
was he driving a Charger?
Yeah,
But so you heard one of them in the video say he almost tried to hit him.
right.
So
Right.
so you do you think do you think that's what, because that's what I think, like it was
So
more ego. So that's how
so
they approach people in charges and infinities.
it's because of the reputation in the city. You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
So
So but wait a minute,
so
let me
you
ask you this before you go on. Do they have a reputation of being ruthless with people in the city?
with
The,
those
pol- the
cars,
pol- no, the police officers.
chief, that's been going on for years. This ain't the
Yeah,
first
so
time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this
Yeah.
certain squad, the Scorpion Squad, like, because I don't know if you was here earlier, I was saying police look the other way as long as you're getting results. They don't care what you're doing as long as you're getting results, and then they worry about it when it hits the fan. So these
Right.
police was given liberty to do whatever the hell they had to do, as long as you was getting results.
Yeah,
Is that
and
correct?
they and I'm not gonna lie, they've been getting results.
Right.
They've been getting results. These same five individuals have saved more lives than they have took. And let me
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
And it just and the only reason why they are in the situation that they're in because if y'all notice the camera they got caught by the street pole. That's a street pole camera they got caught by.
Well, it seemed like the white guy. It seems like the white cop had the camera on.
And I'm glad you made that statement. All right, now listen to me. Now. This is still the South,
Right.
so understand who runs the city. All right, it's nothing
Yeah.
to hang. Now just check this out. Now they've been doing this, but they had to hang them boys out. They had to hang them boys out there like that. They had to hang them out there like that. They had to. Now,
Well,
even
but
though,
that's normally how it is though. Like you know, unfortunately for black men, we get jobs based on being big black men, and they
right.
want, like, I worked in juvenile hall, and they wanted us to be. They wanted black men to be the backbone, the ones do all the dirty work. But when shit hit the fan, they would throw you under the bus quicker than quick.
So that's the reason why they threw them boys up under the bus the way that they did. They stripped all their rights, so they're no longer protected citizens. You know what I'm talking about? By the government, by the city. So
Right.
now that's the reason. And see, that's how you know they took all their rights. And it's gonna be some most. And I'm pretty sure they're not gonna survive too long in jail because some stuff gonna have to come out in order for them to get in protective custody. They're gonna have to give up some stuff.
So you think they're gonna start snitching on each other?
And they ain't gonna have no choice if they want to live. You know what I'm talking about? Because the penitentiary already waiting on them. You know what I'm talking about? They waiting on them.
Right.
And that's the worst place for a cop to go right now after something like this is the general population. They want to go to PC as much as possible, but they going to general population. But the thing is though, uh, it's unfortunate that the young man, you know what I'm saying, lost his life. But then in the same token, now you done took this group off the force, off the streets, and now the young folks know that these folks is locked up. They know they can do whatever they want to do again.
Well, they know they
They
disbanding the group. They just announced they're gonna disband the whole squad now.
and now it's gonna be an uproar because that was the only thing that was somewhat keeping these young folks in check. Because they had them boys out there, the jump out boys. Now when you finna take away the jump out boys, the cities, man, look. Shit, we knew what was going to happen. We knew they was going to lock them up because they knew if they didn't lock them up, trying them folks, they knew they was putting a dot on every police officer, every uniformed police officer out here in the city. They was
So let
putting
me
a
ask
dot.
you this: so you think Memphis is torn? Like the people who want law and order are kind of like they kind of on those guys' side, and then you got
It's
the youngsters
it's
are
not
like, oh yeah, I'm glad they off the street. I'm glad they gone.
yeah, it's dead because the young folks know they ain't got nobody that's gonna check them because they know the police ain't finna pull them over.
Right.
Because if they doing 100 on the freeway, who finna get behind them doing 100? Who finna get behind them and chase them? And then when they go to the neighborhood, who's to say that they ain't already called ahead? Hey, look, I got the boys on. I got 12 on my tail. Y'all come on outside. You know what I'm talking about? I'm finna come through the street. Y'all light them up. Who's to say that ain't finna happen?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't believe what you're saying, but we seen it when I don't remember, was you down there when that dude brother, when the guy went to Mississippi and he killed that dude, took his car, he was all on Facebook Live, came back to Memphis, and the feds shot him, and they had that big old riot down there.
See, and then I was here, but then think about this though. Check this out though. I live in this city.
Right,
I have people on the police force, and I still got people on the street. I'm hearing both sides from everything. They
right.
are and these young folks around here happy them boys is gone to jail
I could believe you. I could believe you.
because now it's one of them situations where they can do whatever they want to do. There's nothing that can be said about it. Ain't nothing that can be done about it. Because they off the street. That's it.
So it's like a catch. It's a bad situation all around for the people of Memphis.
Yeah, it's a bad situation because like like last week at the beginning of the year, elderly man in his 60s, man, at the corner store. Man, some young dude done hit him upside the head with the pistol, took his car, took a Nissan Versa. What's so bad about it? Then
Right.
then then the jack leg gonna have enough nerve to try to sell it on Facebook. You see what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
I know they carjack. I heard about them carjacking the preacher, the woman preacher, and shooting her over her car down there.
Man, look, ain't nobody safe. You really not safe because if these young folks is on that fentanyl, they on this lean, they on the green, they on everything. They popping pills, they on everything. And I'm gonna say this, and y'all might not believe it, but the women here are even worse than the men
Yeah, I could believe it. Yeah,
because a lot of men are getting set up in Memphis. You know what I'm talking about? They getting set up. They
right,
getting
right,
set up. You know what I'm talking about? So with that being said, it's just one of them situations, bro, where it's unfortunate that he lost his life. But then it's another thing too. Now you done took this group off the street. Now you finna disband the whole group. Now, now the young folks out here that was worried about these folks ain't worried about these folks. So they like, who gonna stop me now from doing what I want to do now? You know what I'm
Wait,
talking about?
so King Solomon, you don't think they're gonna be replaced?
You can't. How you gonna replace something like that when you already it done been exposed? First of all, it wasn't even known. You see what I'm talking about? This
I
been they
got
done
you.
all. So we got this thing we call they call Blue Crush. All right. So this is when Blue Crush is when they come to your neighborhood. It's zero tolerance for trafficking, speeding, seat belts, whatever. Everybody that got warrants, they doing a sweep of the neighborhood. They stopped doing the Blue Crush so often, so now they made this little group, this special task force, the jump out boys to go handle these situations. So it's one of them situations where you like, and you damn if you do, damn if you don't. So I feel bad for all this involved because them men right there, they was like you said, they was given liberty to act this way. You see what I'm talking about? To a certain demographic in the city, and they couldn't use the other side to do this because it would be racially motivated. You see what I'm talking about? So you
right,
use your own kind to keep your kind in check. You see what I'm talking about?
right,
So that's the reason why because they knew if they would have had a bunch of the other side doing this, then they knew it would have been it'd have been a whole bunch of shooting going on. It would have been a real riot then. But we've been
right.
doing, look, check this out, boss. Uh, it's a shootout down there every night in my neighborhood. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear rapid gunfire. During school hours, you will hear gunfire. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not racism. It just they just got caught. You know what I'm talking about? They done this before. This ain't the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah.
And I
I
But
think
heard.
what I
Go ahead, let sister. Go ahead, sister.
Hey, I was just gonna chime in. I'm listening to you fellas. I think, and then another reason, is because politics. They put a countdown on CNN. Do you hear me? Talking about when they gonna let this video out to get everybody all emotional and stuff. And this is something that's in our own community. You know what I mean? It ain't like it was. It you couldn't. They were like, this is police brutality, and this is. It wasn't racist. It was 5 other black guys that beat another black man. This it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with what he was saying.
hey,
Though they were
and
hand chosen for those rough areas. It's like they policing their own community. I'm pretty sure they have ties to that community where this happened at. They grandma probably lived there, or they family members, or
and
whatever the case may be.
No, they was all from out. They wasn't from Memphis. They was all from
no,
other places.
yeah. See, they didn't grow up in Memphis. See, that's what they do. They get the out of
Oh.
towners to do this, so therefore they won't have any ties to the city. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
talking about?
common because in Oakland, they won't hire police officers that grew up in Oakland because they feel like
You'll be
you are
compromised.
right. Yeah, you be compromised.
Yeah,
I don't know though. Well, that changes the game on my thought because I'm thinking
yeah.
this they community. They
No, this
working
ain't
in
their
their own
community. You
community.
can't do that. You can't do that as opposed as an authority figure. You can't have anybody in your city. That's the reason why. All right, so if you heard me from the beginning when I said there's the Charger board, the Charger gang, the Challenger gang, and the Infinity board. These 3 groups will never ever be pulled over by regular police. Will never ever get pulled over by regular police due to the fact of their history, what they do, because they jump out shooting, or they gonna take you for a long ride. You see what I'm talking about? They on the expressway doing 100, doing a dash, getting away. You see what I'm saying? So uh it's just one of those situations where it's just unfortunate, but they just have this not the first time and it won't be the last time. Let me just say that. It won't be the
But,
last time.
but
The
now it's
next
like
time does it get caught? That's the question.
the people of Memphis are now like defenseless.
We've been defenseless, bro.
Yeah.
We've been defenseless. You know
Well,
what
let
I'm
me
talking
ask
about?
you this: why, like Memphis? I be studying Memphis because Memphis got like 600,000 blacks and 200,000 whites.
That don't mean nothing.
What's the problem down there? Is it like the black people are just not? Are
Oh,
they like they have a slave mentality? They don't
it's
have
not.
like a
It's not that. Okay, so the state looks at Memphis as two entities all in one because
okay,
we have 2 mayors. We have a county and a city mayor. You see what I'm talking about? So
right,
when the
right,
funds are when the funds come to the county, they got to share it with the city, and the city got to what I'm saying, divvy out what's the difference between the rest of the county. So with that being said, it's always going to be a conflict on how the funds get distributed. You see what I'm talking about? So with that being said, we don't lost a lot of stuff. Like we don't have any community centers around here. Uh, they used to have for the summer, the kids used to be able to go swim. Can't go swim anywhere. You got to go pay to swim. You had to go to events and stuff like that. So the city now is doing good by building activity centers for young people to get involved in. But the bad part about it is it's a little bit too late because of that one generation that never got that opportunity to experience summer love through with the community. They are out in the streets. So we're talking about the 20-year-olds that's the 19 to 20-year-olds right now never got a chance to experience that stuff growing up. So now they just all they know is the streets and go to work and get high and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all they know right now.
So you don't think no type of organization by the black community? Because I know, like, and I even called them out. I seen the Hebrew Israelites. they was bragging about how they was marching strong in Memphis, and I was like, man, y'all downtown. Ain't nothing
Yeah,
going on down there. Y'all
ain't
downtown.
nothing.
Go to the hood.
First of all, people in Memphis don't even go downtown. We don't even
Right.
go. If there's anybody here in this live right now that's in Memphis, you can tell that we do not go to Beale Street. We don't go to Beale Street at all. If we live in Memphis, we don't go to Beale Street because Beale Street, you gonna get robbed or killed or shot down there. We don't even go to Beale Street. If we go to Beale Street as a Memphian, we go through in the daytime.
Right.
No one goes downtown. Look, you see it. No Beale Street. We do not go down because even though if we go downtown, we going to the FedEx Forum, and once we get through with the game, we leave. We out of there. And I would love to go to the Grizzly game, but man, do I want to get into an altercation down there on Beale Street? Nah, I doubt it. Nope. It's just one of those situations. This is what it is, man. Memphis is a lovely city, but you have to stay in your own lane and stay away from the young folks. When you see a group of young boys, time to move around. Time to move around. Yeah, it's just
So
time to move around.
so are they robbing the whites too? Are they robbing white people, or are they just going after their own people? You still there?
Yeah, nah, man, anybody can get it. Ain't nobody. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing going on. It ain't nothing special. It's anybody can get it. They take
Yeah.
it from whoever they can.
And then
Yeah.
when somebody do get hurt or killed by one of these out of control children, nobody is like marching the streets. Then that's what I don't get. Like why everybody, why CNN or all these news outlets not making a big yelling out across the world that another black kid got killed
Man,
or
they getting
any
killed
they
around here.
don't do that. That's why I
They
say it's
getting
political.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So that's why Memphians, we didn't get involved. Not too many Memphians got involved in it. You know what I'm talking about with the little march they did downtown because we already know what the business is. First of all, why would we go downtown where all the stuff is happening at anyway? Yeah, we gonna stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm better at the house anyway. It's unfortunate the young man lost his life, but hey, it's still rough out here. You know what I'm talking about? Don't you know that last night people got their cars broke into still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Folks
Yeah.
got robbed last night from going down to that protest.
Yeah. That's the thing. You
But
know.
to Brother B-Ray, to answer Miss Cutie's question up there, we was talking about it yesterday. Uh, there ain't
Yeah, I'm
no
Solomon
money.
John.
Yeah, there ain't no money in this. They see five black dudes jumping on another black dude, and there ain't no money in it. BLM can't get no donations. Um, CNN can't hype it up, all that much. And if there ain't no money in it, they ain't gonna, you know.
I think what happened was they felt the pulse of Memphis, and they couldn't get what they wanted out of Memphis.
Arthur, hit me in my DM, Chief.
Yeah, they
You know
couldn't
what I'm
get
saying?
out. I mean, y'all can agree, y'all can tune in. I don't think that's why they had to build the hype up, because I think, like King Solomon saying, people in Memphis kind of knew, like, they knew what was going on, so they're not going to protest. They like, these dudes are keeping us safe. Like he said, it's unfortunate it happened. That's why they kept hyping it up, and we're going to premiere the video on Friday, because
Yeah,
Memphis didn't give them what they wanted, and they couldn't bring in the outside agitators.
right. See, because like, not to cut you off, but they know the temperature of this city. Hey,
Right.
look, we're gonna have to look, we're gonna have to play, look, go on fire these folks, go on lock them up, let's go on bring them up on charges now. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna hit them with the look. 3 of them had a $350,000 bond, and the other ones had $250,000. That's $25,000. That's $35,000 to get out. They had to give them a bond because they just due process so they can get their affairs in order. But other than that, nah, man, they knew what they had to do. They knew what they had to do.
No, I'm talking about the riot. They want the riots and the protests
No, that
because,
wasn't gonna happen.
like you said, the people in Memphis, those people are basically heroes. I mean,
Yeah,
for a lack of a better word, these
yeah,
five brothers, they're like heroes to them people. And now they like y'all like, what the fuck we gonna do now?
yeah. Because whether you like what they did or not, they saved more than they destroyed. You know what I'm talking about? So it's one
Right.
of them
That's what I'm
situations
saying.
like you know we gonna feel the wrath by them disbanding this group. We gonna feel it because these young for they finna have them a field day.
Right.
And
Because
people
ain't
not,
nobody.
and they not thinking about that. Like people who live in the hood or who understand. I'm in Milwaukee. I know how it is. We ain't too far from y'all. I get it. We got the kid boys. We got all that outlandish stuff that these young folks is doing. I get exactly what you're saying. But they again, that's what they just making it so big. And then you don't even have the people that's in the street protesting. They ain't even black people. These like the goth white people, like the real weird white people that's like tearing down they tearing down our cities, our hoods, our
Yeah, they
neighborhoods,
going to
our
prison.
downtowns.
Yeah, they going to prison, bro. They done took their rights away from them. So they not even going. They not even going to. They don't even keep their cop privileges when they go to jail. They going straight to general population. That's how. That's how you know it was when you have to look at the whole totality of the situation. Ain't nowhere in the world you immediately strip cops' rights away from them when they get charged. They don't do that any other place, but they had to do it here because of the other side that was involved in it, and they got to protect them too. It was not just them five brothers that did this. It was multiple.
Yeah, you seen a white hand in the first video that they showed. So yeah, they was gonna throw them under the bus. Of course, at the end of the day, when they take that uniform off, they still black men. At
At
the
the
end of the day,
end of
they
the day,
still black men. So they gonna
But
make an example out of them.
I think he's talking about like they had to do something because they was gonna start killing the cops. There was gonna be a
oh yeah,
war with
that
the
was gonna
cops.
happen. That was gonna happen. That was gonna happen. That was gonna happen. And it still might happen. Just
Yeah,
because it was cops that did it. That's not gonna stop it. You know what I'm saying? That's just put it on pause for a moment. You know what I'm talking about? Because
But
you gotta understand.
I
Now
mean,
not
you gotta look at how bad Memphis is. You got people leaving Memphis and getting hit up in Texas because you had you had two rappers get hit up in Texas, and the little girl got hit up in Texas. Her father had something to do with the Young Dolph killing. Snooty Wild and what's it, Lotado something.
mm-hmm.
So you got these people following. I don't think these people are from Texas hitting them up because they ain't got no beef with them. These
it's
people are
just
being followed from Memphis.
man, look, check this out. One thing about a Memphis person is you once you say that you from Memphis, man, everything changed. People talk to you totally different. I don't care where you at. I have been in California. I'd have been around some of the toughest, you know what I'm saying, gang bangers there is. But once I said I'm from Memphis, they looked at me different. They watched how they talked to me. Everything was different because they already know that all this slick stuff they talking, it don't phase me. And I'm not saying that I'm, I'm tough and buff and all that, but I'm just saying I done grew up in the hood. I know better. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's a whole nother thing. Memphis is not a part of Tennessee. Let me help y'all understand this. Memphis is not a part of Tennessee. Memphis is a state by itself within a state.
Well, I mean, that's like a lot of states in the South. Like you go to Kentucky, Louisville's in
True.
Kentucky, but it's a whole different ball. It's not like
That's true.
it's
It ain't
like
no
when you're
different
in
than any
Memphis.
other
This is what
state.
people. It's like Georgia. It's like Atlanta. Like when you're in Memphis, what goes in Memphis goes in Memphis. Don't step outside Memphis and think that shit goes because you in Tennessee.
Yeah,
That's what, you in Tennessee, and
yeah,
Tennessee is ran by white people.
all
You
day
do whatever
long.
the hell you want in Memphis, but once you step out of Memphis,
Yeah, you back to reality.
right? That's how it is
Yeah,
in Kentucky, Georgia, like
yeah,
Jackson. You
yeah.
do what the hell you want down there, but you
So,
dealing with a
so
whole different person when you step out of there.
I got a question for everybody. Who do you think posted their bail?
What you mean? Who posted their bail? The police department posted their bail.
Well,
The
yeah,
city
yeah.
posted their bail. They had to get them out.
Union.
No, no, the city. The city did that. There wasn't no union involved. They can't put their name on the paperwork, but the city can. The mayor can. The mayor can get them up out of there. Let them get out there. So they had to let them get out so they can say they finally goodbyes because they know what's gonna happen. They done all sat down. Check this out. Them boys didn't go to no holding cell.
Nah, they did.
They didn't go to no holding cell. They was upstairs walking around freely.
But here's the other thing though. Like if they can't go to Memphis jail because not the people in the jail probably don't care about the dude who got killed. But they like, oh shit, here's that. Oh, I remember y'all. You got people
Mm-hmm.
in the jail that's like,
That
oh
they don't
yeah,
put away. They don't.
they
They
put
got to go
away.
see the same dudes they just locked up. Do you really think they want to go
Right.
see these folks? These
Or
folks
they
still in
might
201.
or they might let every case that they had worked on and they found that person guilty, they might let them back out to the streets of Memphis. And
Oh
these
no no
folks,
no 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 no. Oh no, hell no.
they
What
look at
they
every
did?
case when people get in
No
trouble,
no
when
no no.
cops get in
Mm-mm.
trouble.
No no no. They will not do that. They will
Okay.
not do that. They gonna keep them young. They gonna keep because them young folks that they already locked up previous. They did what the hell they did. Now they might have taken a beating on the way down there, but they would never overturn that. Memphis is not finna let nobody go to there. I know that you done did some stuff. I know you did it. No, no
They would
sir.
have to prove that they was planting evidence and they was very
Right,
corrupt. All they did
right.
was they beat a person and the person died. There's no proof that they was planting evidence and they
Yeah,
was
they just beat that man.
Well,
falsely arresting people.
Well, Memphis did have that other guy before the video came out. He said, like, some days before this happened to that young man, these same 5 cops stopped him at a gas station and tried to put a pound of weed on him. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but it was on the news outlets.
But
Hey,
That's why I said,
what he's saying, it makes sense. Like because, like in Ferguson with Michael Brown, this is how you know a criminal. A criminal is someone who, like, there was a lot of those so-called activists in Ferguson. They was talking about, I had money, I've been had money, but you never had a job. So how did you have money? You
right.
was doing something
that's
illegal.
true.
So a lot of
So
these Black Lives Matter protests in these cities, you'll see a lot of these young dudes in it because it benefits them. Getting the police
so
off the streets benefits them. So why wouldn't they go down there and yell Black Lives Matter?
so let me
With the
put some
cops.
gravity to the situation. All right, check this out, boss. Let me put this on y'all mind. The Infinity Board, the Charger Group, and the Challenger Group are all 20-year-olds.
Right.
They got brand new Hellcats, brand new Chargers. These folks ain't working.
Nah.
These folks ain't working. Where
Well,
you think they
Memphis
get
be
this
on the
money
first
from?
48. We already see Memphis on the first 48. That's one of their top cities that they broadcast out of and do they show on is Memphis. So we know how Memphis is. That's what people got to keep in mind. It's rough. I have seen like little kids getting, hit by stray bullets and stuff, caught out in a
Man,
shootout. But nobody's going crazy about that in our
right before,
community, and that make me mad about it because why aren't you putting on this same loud rah rah when another black little kid got killed by another black little kid? But all of a sudden, I'm not saying that this guy deserved it because he did not deserve it. I don't want people to get that mixed up. But at the same time, everybody ain't putting that same passion into the everyday crime that's there.
hey, Sky Chat, the reason why you don't want to give your son that car, you do not want to give your son an Infinity, a Charger, or a Challenger because he's going to be put in that group with the rest of them. Because this is the group that's out here doing it. It's not to say that he is, but you will be guilty by association. That's just how that works. And you know what I'm saying? You can slice it up any kind of way you want to, but when you put them your kids in these cars that they really not supposed to be driving in, because I understand you as a parent want to give your child the best that they could possibly have. But if they out here in a 20, 21 and they only 19 years old and they out here stunning, out here driving crazy, out here doing donuts, and they out here spending their time, all this old extra stuff, they got a special group for these folks. They
Well,
got a special group.
what you're saying is real, because when I was early 30s, when the 300 came out, when the
Right,
300 first came out, I kept getting pulled over. I was like, I bought one, a nice one, had the rims on it, sky blue, had the nice seats. I kept getting pulled over by the police. The police, I would come out of the store, the police would be around my car. And then they would see it was me, they would leave me alone. But
right,
then I asked someone, I said, man, why these police keep bothering me? And he said, look around. Who do you see with that car? All you see
right,
is dope boys with the car. That's who. So they think you a dope boy. That's why they
right,
harassing you.
right, right, right. See, you got to understand who the people that the ones that's committing the crime understand what type of vehicles they drive, and those are the
Right.
cars that you don't want to drive. You see what I'm talking about? Those
Not
are the
only
cars
that,
you don't want to drive.
you got to understand how they dress.
Right,
You don't even want to dress like them.
right. And then you can call it profiling all you want to, but that's all the information and data they got to go on. Because
Right.
85% of they stops, people that's driving these cars, dressing this type of way, is doing this certain type of thing. They going off the data that they have.
That's like me
You see what I'm
dressing
talking?
like a prostitute. If I dress like a prostitute, they gonna think I'm a prostitute. That's it.
And you
Is what
can't,
it is. You
yeah,
know.
you put on a uniform as a thug, don't be mad when a person approach you like one.
But that's the reality of our community. Got to face reality. It's like
Yeah,
the stop and frisk laws in New York. Now, if you could say they were stopping and frisking black men in suits and slacks and ties and shirts,
it is
then we could say
profiling,
racial
JD.
profiling. They were stopping black men who wore baggy jeans and hoodies. And
But what
who
do
was committing most of the crime? Black men in baggy jeans and hoodies. That's
yeah.
it.
It's
So we,
nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm talking about? It's just the way. So let's just make sure that we understand that the system in place is actually working the way that they designed it to work. We can take all the politics out of it, but understand this is the way they designed this stuff to work, and it's working perfectly for them. So with that being said, as constituents, as people of the city, we have to deal with the way that they designed it. And it's been designed before we even was here. And it's going to continue to be designed that way because they don't see any flaw in it. Because one thing about it, two things for sure, it's still paying the bills. Because long as they can keep their damn penitentiary full, bills are getting paid.
penitentiary and the graveyard.
That's it.
They keep those two things. I think Shady Whistle Down wanted to say something. What you want to say, Shady?
I just wanted to say that, one, thank you for having me on. Two, I just wanted to say that back to what King Solomon was saying, that it, at the end of the day, they like I made a video earlier. They plastered, like I said, 6 black men lost. That's how I look at it. 6 of them lost because
Mm-hmm.
one lost by brutality and the other one's by ignorance because of everything that this system has been set up to basically fail black men in general.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like he said, as long as their jails are getting full,
Mm-hmm.
black men are losing their jobs and not
Mm-hmm.
and getting something, not getting anything positive out of it because they were so quick to post them. I mean, it was like not like it was soon as like it was so quick. And I'm just like, and it's like you don't want to. It's like sometimes you don't want to put the race in it, but it's like you can't help but notice that they don't do that when there was other cases when there was white officers and a black person that died. They never did that. They
Right.
never did that. But with this, it was like, look at this is who this is who you guys are. That's kind of how it looked.
But you
And
gotta see too. It's just not with this because Look at all the correctional officers who are getting arrested and fired for brutality. They arrested a
Essential
Metro
misconduct.
correctional officer in Louisville.
Man,
He was a black man because he beat an inmate. They arrested him. So it's just black. This is what black men. They hire black men. They want black men to be the muscle. They want
True.
black men to. They want black men to keep, especially older. But they want black men to keep the younger black men intact. But then when you go too far, like even in
Right.
school, when you go too far, they're gonna throw your ass under the bus. But as
Yeah,
long
that's
as you
very
get
true.
results,
Yeah,
that's
and it's
it.
sad. It's sad
That's
because
it.
this is
They,
something that's been in place in this system since slavery. Like they used to make black men fight each other. That's the first
hey,
thing.
shady,
well, they used to
shady.
make the black men. People want to talk about black men was the overseers. They used to make
Yeah,
black
Right.
men
exactly.
chase
The
down the
overseer. That's the
slaves.
whole point of the police. The whole police idea came from an overseer. That's what that is. That's all
Uh,
these people
Check.
are overseers for the government to watch
Hey,
these individual people who they target. Who like he was saying the profiling. Like you can't tell me that just because I'm wearing baggy jeans and a hoodie that I'm an instant target. That is mindless to me. But that's the system. Like that's exactly how
check.
the system works.
Hey, look. Hey, I'm finna say this right here. I gotta go bust a move. But I'm gonna let you know how deep it is. So years ago, I was at the store and I was talking to this elderly man. He was on the other side, and and it was a commotion going on in the store. And it was between our side, right?
mhm.
And he made this statement. He said, you know the reason why we give y'all positions. And I was like, why? He said, when in order to make you feel important, you just have to put you in charge of something. That's the only way you're gonna feel like you're a part of something. Is if I put you in place to be in charge of something, you'll act a certain way. You see what I'm talking about? You'll never teach, but you'll always try to control. That's the reason why we put y'all in positions to fail. We don't ever put y'all in positions for success. And I looked at him crazy, but he made so much sense because the way it was unfolding in front of our eyes, you had a manager talking to another employee talking crazy. So with that being said, you want, but when they come in, it's all yes sir, no sir, this, that, and the third. But that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So
That's real talk, man. That's real
we
talk.
as people have to do what we need to do.
You going out?
I'm a holler though.
All right, bro.
All right.
But what he's saying is real because if you look at when they bring in black managers, they normally bring black managers into hot areas. You go out to the white areas, you rarely see a white manager. Okay? Normally, all the black managers are in the black areas. Go ahead. Who wants to say something? Go ahead. Anyone? Everyone's quiet now. Blue Grain, you still there?
How you doing, guys?
All right, and you?
All right, all right. Yeah, man, I'm a law enforcement officer for the past 30 years,
Okay.
down in South Florida, and I just jumped on. I just got into your live here, and
Okay.
what those dudes did is wrong. And I was a correctional officer for a state prison, back and forth, and I've been out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find is the problem nowadays is that a lot of the police academies, because of personnel shortage, are putting people through as easy as they can. They're not teaching stress levels to individuals. And we don't know how certain individuals will react under stress when the emotions kick in. And certain people will break, become weak. Certain people get violent. And we, as police officers, understand that a lot of these police agencies are using a very outdated psychological test. It's a psychological test that was actually made for farmers in the Midwest in the 1940s. And they're still using this test to see if you fit the criteria of that police department, not to see your emotional stress levels, nothing. Down in Florida, for example, in corrections, They have minimized not the hours, but they've compressed the classes, and they're giving minimum training just to put people on the job. Because as we know, in Florida, there's a bad personnel shortage in prisons. What does that cause? That causes a lot of problems between the inmates who are already, as it is, down on their luck, and the officers. And then it breaks the officers' morale and blah, blah, blah. It's happening also in the city, in the city police, the county police, and all the police agencies, because these police academies are, you know, for example, they can't do certain physical stresses in the middle of the classroom because, oh, no, it's not good. It's not politically correct. I'm old school. I went through a police academy back in 1990. Okay. I'm 53. I'm still at it. I don't condone, I don't like police brutality in any way. I do understand there is force that needs to be met with force. Okay. But if the person is complying, there is no shape or form that it is okay to basically beat down a person who's on the floor.
You're saying a
Even if they're
force
just
that needs to be complied by, but really, in the end of the day, what type of force do you actually need to use on certain individuals that aren't even fighting back? They're still using force on them.
okay.
If you can't
That's where
contain
I'm
a
getting at.
situation, yeah, okay, go ahead.
That is where I'm getting at. Okay, if in the police departments, they're trained in most the police academies to meet force with force. Okay, one step up. If the person is just being combative, basically mouthing off, blah blah blah, you contain them physically, you handcuff them and put them in your police car. You don't need to go beyond that. Okay, if the person goes beyond that, then you have to neutralize the threat. Now, if the person is being compliant, I don't care if they're just mouthing off their usual, BS. If they're just mouthing off or whatever, they're still being compliant. There's no reason to go beyond the, you know, the regular use of force, which is just basically handcuffing them. Because anything for example, I'm talking about the state of Florida, putting your hands on somebody is a use of force, whether it's just doing a regular escort or putting them in a police car. It's a use of force because you're putting your hands on it, and it's known as battery. So, just if they're complying, do your job, but kicking them in the
let me
face
ask
and
you
taking
this.
them
Let
all the
me
way
ask you
down.
this though. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me ask you this because
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
when you joined the police force, we in a way worse world now. So
Oh yeah,
you like have to. These police officers are in very much stress. I mean, I'm not taking up for them. They low paid. I understand they low paid. They not they a lot
some
of the
police
police officers. A lot of police officers don't even make
some police,
$100,000.
They
Some police
don't.
officers makes thirty
yeah,
five
some.
thousand dollars. So
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
the
you're right.
stress
They're
level, like,
extremely
and then you
underpaid,
got
and
people. You got wait a minute, hold on. You got people just walking up to the cars and shooting them.
yeah,
Everybody got a gun now. It ain't like when they used to be the only people with guns. Everybody got guns now. You got a lot of mental health out here, which is very unfortunate that most of the jails are overran with mental health issues. The police officers got to be
yes,
mental health experts. So do you think all of this, you can't train for all of this because I worked in juvenile hall. We went through a lot of trainings. You cannot train people for all of this that we're asking the police officers to do. Do you think this is fair?
exactly, exactly. You're absolutely correct. Look,
Can I say something
when a police
about
officer,
that comment real
Let
quick?
him finish, then you can go. Go ahead. Go ahead,
okay,
WC.
when a police officer okay, when a police officer first gets hired, they go through the police academy, which to me is the bare minimum. It's in the state of Florida is 954 hours, and they train you. Okay, then you go out into the street. Then you get a 3 months of FTO, field training officer. Then you're let loose. Now, then you can get training optionally. It's up to you, and the department can pay for it. And if the department won't pay for it, I'm a firm believer of still being a police officer on the street. Get the training. Get as much training as you can. Get as much training in human behavior of today, not the human behavior of 1978. Okay, it's a total different society we live nowadays. Like you said, a lot more people with guns that hate the cops, and we ourselves, okay, as humans, for some reason, it doesn't matter the color, the race, the culture, the creed, or whatever, we are creating a social division, and we're using social media to do it. And what that's going to do is going to break down a country because, in Julius Caesar, you divide and conquer. Okay, that's what's happening nowadays. Okay, is it wrong that these police officers did what they did? Yes, but it's all the police community and all law enforcement. I'm talking about police, corrections, and probation at fault. No, But does the public see us all as one badge? Of course, because that's what we're being trained, and we're becoming what they call a Me Too society. Okay. I don't. I'm one of the first ones. I'm not gonna say here that I'm gonna that when I see something wrong, I'm eventually run to my supervisor. I talk to the police officer first, and if that doesn't solve it, then I have to go to the immediate supervisor. Okay. I like I said, I come from the old school way of training, where back in the day, you listen to a cop. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a little insight about me. Okay, in
Well,
2016, I was
let
arrested.
sister wait a minute. Let sister talk first, then we'll come back to all that
Okay,
because
so
she
I'm
has
trying to
something to say.
comment
Please wait.
Yeah.
on some of you guys' responses. One for the last ones that he was saying. He talks about all these cops are underpaid. The problem is that everybody's underpaid. You have nurses, doctors, you have everything that you need
Yes.
out in the healthcare that's underpaid. They don't have insurance, so they're killing people or fighting people. The government is setting up on all kinds of aspects. One, you say cops are underpaid, but half of these cops, about 80% of cops get overpaid, because if it's not on paper for us to see, it's still in the streets. One, they're bullies, they're corrupt, and they're criminals.
That's not
So
all cops. That's not all cops.
most
Don't do that. Don't
most
do that. It's not even
most
No,
most cops. It's not even most
no,
cops. It's
you
not
can't
even
you
most
can't
cops.
no, you can't even say most police officers, ma'am. I'm sorry to tell you this. Look, in the law enforcement community, the most corrupted law enforcement officers, the most corrupted, and I mean in numbers, are correctional officers. Who are law enforcement? Okay, why are they corrupt? Because the morale of the job is down to the floor. Number one, they work with the bare minimum. They're underpaid. And then when you have an inmate telling you a pack of cigarettes is worth $300 inside the prison, that officer will bring it. Okay, and yes, it's a felony to introduce contraband into a prison. What happens to that officer? He gets stripped out of his correctional certification, and he goes to prison himself. Okay, police officers are less to be corrupt than a correctional officer is. Now, there are very good correctional officers. They're very good police officers. And why I say corrections is because I was a corrections captain. Okay, now they're not overly paid in any way. Okay, my salary is in the six digits as a police officer, and I work damn hard for it. Okay, I work damn hard for it. I work as probably as much as a surgeon in the ER. Okay,
Well,
and I don't even.
when I mean cut you off,
so it's
but
not all
when
cops.
you wait a
It's
minute,
not
hold
all
on.
cops.
When you like, cause I worked in juvenile hall. When you put with all you have to deal with, and I can
Exactly.
imagine like working in prison is like 5 times worse than working in juvenile hall. And working in juvenile hall, that's most people couldn't even work in juvenile hall. Most people would walk in
Exactly.
juvenile hall and quit right then and there. They would be like the first day you would quit. Now, if you put
Exactly.
all you have to deal with now in prison, your salary don't equal up. You have to
Exactly.
deal with
Exactly.
gangs. You got to deal with
Yeah.
this is shit I was dealing with in juvenile hall. We was dealing
Yeah.
with gangs. We were dealing with kids gassing us. We was dealing with sexual assaults.
Yes.
We was dealing, and this imagine
Yes.
this is kids. These are kids. Imagine this
Yeah.
on a grown man level.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
That
I
that got
worked.
to be
I
worse.
worked. I worked when I was a correctional officer for the state. I worked in the worst prison in Florida. Okay, it was known as the Rock back in the day. Okay, today's worth is known as the Florida State Prison. In other words, that's where the electric chair and also the uh, the injection is. Okay,
Right.
and I'm going to tell you something. Those inmates, out of the 1,600 inmates, 1,400 of them are under 23-hour lockdown. Okay, even under lockdown, they were horrendous. Okay, people don't know, they don't understand, which is what is known as the forgotten police, the underpaid, the forgotten correctional officer. Okay, and they you don't know what people don't understand what you got to deal with. Most street police officers, the ones that you see buff with the tattoos, acting like the
They
bullies,
don't know what it is.
you put those to work inside of a prison, they will shake and possibly piss their pants. Okay, people think that working in a prison is like seeing TV. Prison is clean. They have air conditioner. I'm going to tell you something right now. The state of Florida does not provide air conditioner, not even for the officer. Okay, it provides fans and it provides windows. That is it, and that is all you get. Okay, and the working conditions of a correctional officer in the state of Florida is horrible. Okay,
We
and
have
we
a
have to deal
broken
with the
system.
bare minimum. When I tell you the bare minimum, I mean the bare minimum. Okay, I worked for a police department. I'm not going to say which one, that I worked with the bare minimum. My police car had 485,000 miles. That was a hand me down from 7 other police departments in my county. Okay, I currently still have that police car. Okay, I've had to change the alternator myself 4 times because the city did not have the money. Okay, and um, and I work for that police department. I'm proud to work for that police department, and I help out my community. And my community is primarily black who live there. Okay, and my community loves me when they see me pull up. Why? Because I understand their issues. I understand their problems. I understand the people that live in those, poverty stricken apartments. I know what they're going through. Okay, and I come up there as a correction officer that understands, because when you start understanding what an inmate goes through 24 hours a day, okay, living with bare minimum, okay, pleading for a soap, pleading for things that we can go off and buy at CVS at any moment, okay, and they live with the bare minimums. So when I go to work, I go and I try to help out people. Okay, yeah, there are police officers, and I'm not gonna lie to you, they're assholes, they're bullies and stuff like that. I'm not. Now, if a person disrespects me, I'm gonna be sarcastic about it. But now, if you use force towards me, I'm gonna meet you with force. You know why? Because I have a 2-month-old daughter, and I'm gonna go home. And it is what it is.
Well,
And I expect any
one thing you didn't bring up is like, and I understood. I had to understand this. I met someone who actually worked in San Quentin. He was the captain of San Quentin, and
okay.
he was telling. I was like, these kids, they be like they're gonna kill me and stuff, and he was like, oh, that's an idle threat. When you come to San Quentin and one of these dudes say they're gonna kill you, you better believe they're gonna try to kill you.
Yeah, yeah,
And it doesn't matter. It's not like this guy had to have his whole family moved because he busted a
yes,
member of the Mexican mafia, and
yes.
the Mexican mafia threatened his family. So his whole family had to be relocated.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like people don't understand what goes on in them places.
No, they don't.
Those people
No,
are
they don't.
very
It
underpaid.
is scary.
No, they
It's
don't. And let
very
me
scary
explain.
in a lot of different places.
And let me explain something to people that they don't understand about these inmates. These inmates work out more regularly than the average person that lives in the free world. Okay, mentally, and I'm still institutionalized from working very long in the prison. Okay, I still count people when I drive around, when I go to places. I still do certain things that a correctional officer does on a daily basis, and that has saved my life even in the streets as a cop. Um, I'm going to say something. Okay, when you have a 140-pound man that can carry what we call the juice box that weighs about 225 pounds up 3 flights of stairs to deliver juice to inmates. Okay, that's 225 pounds that I cannot carry. I'm 6 foot. Okay, I'm not a small guy. And I got inmates that are half my size carrying it like if they're carrying a gallon of milk. Do you think that guy cannot possibly kick my ass? Of course he possibly can. You know why? His stamina is much more than mine. Okay, I had an inmate tell me one time, he said my last name and my rank, and he said, you know what? You guys should work out more. And I'm not even fat. I'm actually on the thin side. And I said, why do you say that? Because we can push 1,000 push-ups every morning, 150 pull-ups per hand, but yet we're locked up in here, and you guys come to work prepared to fight us. But do you think we can't take you out? It'll take me 15 seconds unless you're a trained fighter. You guys are there smoking in the pipe chase of the prison, yet we're not.
Can I ask
And
you a
it made me
question,
think a lot.
MBU?
And then
Hey,
I went through.
sister, something's wrong with your phone. We can't hear you.
Okay, do you hear me now?
No, not you. Say your name, sister, because my eyes are bad. All I see is the
That
DAT.
one, Mama. I
That
just
one,
wanted
mama.
to ask him a question.
Go ahead.
So we're
Yeah, go ahead.
talking about two different scenarios. So we're talking about police officers that work in jails, and then you're talking about police officers on the street. I believe that if you put a police officer on the street in the jail to work as, with the inmates, maybe they would have a little bit more respect for the streets. But the problem is these days, I do feel, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, that I feel that some of these cops should have psych evaluations, anger management, because in all reality, yes, they deal with a lot in the street, but sometimes they can make it easier for themselves. And no, there is some idiots on the street too. But I feel some of these cops go into work thinking because their badge is their badge that they're higher than anybody out on the street. And it
Okay,
is sad these days because they use their badge as like a trophy saying, hey, I'm better than you and you have to listen to me. And it's not
okay. Can
fair.
I?
I have cops in my family.
Okay, can I interject real quick?
Yep.
Okay, you're correct in a way. Okay, but here's the problem: most police officers, and I mean